Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Russell and thank you for joining me here today. So we have a Philodendron Gloriosum care and repotting video for you today. I think I've done a video before showing you my Gloriosum, but I've never done anything other than that. There's two in here, both from the same plant. I cut them up when I first got it because it had two nodes that were producing offshoot, and I thought, well, there's two plants there, so let's cut them off. She is slightly a weaker plant. She's in a really small pot, so I think it will be better when she's upgraded, which we're going to do today. If I turn around, she has lost 2 leaves recently, and I think that's because the pot is too small to carry the amount of foliage that she has now. This is the smaller of the two, just pushing out a new leaf, as you can see. I don't think it's grown very much just because it's in such a small pot. A lasagna pot. There we go. Now you know what I eat. Lasagna. I don't cook lasagna. I'll just buy it. And here we are is the bigger part. And this is the leaf that we did a time-lapse video for. And you can look back and have a look. And I'll put that description underneath. Okay for you? So what do we know about the Philodendron Gloriosum? So the Philodendron Gloriosum is from Colombia. It likes humidity above 60, okay? You can go slightly lower. It has been lower in my flat than that sometimes, but it does prefer above 60. They have very velvet leaves, which are gorgeous. I love the leaves. And as they mature, the white veining, takes back, the white veining that you can see here becomes more prominent as the leaf gets bigger. Now, I have been told that this is a dark form. I don't know, so please comments down below if you think this is the dark form. I don't really know the difference, I'll be honest with you. To me, they look both the same. This is a terrestrial plant. So what happens, it grows along the surface of something. Maybe the ground, maybe a tree has fallen down, it's rotting, it will grow along the tree. It doesn't climb, okay? Now, if you have a plant like this at home, you go, well, mine's climbing. Yours is probably the Glorious, which is the Philodendron Glorious. And that's a cross between the Philodendron Gloriosum and the Philodendron, I'm going to get it right now. I've got it written on the board behind the screen because I cannot say it. So it's Philodendron Gloriosum. Philodendron Gloriosum, okay? And that's the one that climbs. It's a cross between those two. So this would be the parent and the Gloriosum would be the parent, and you would get the Glorious, okay? And that's the one you would probably have if it's climbing up. This one, as you can see, is now coming out of the edge of the pot. And as you can see, the root is pointing downwards. And as it goes along, the roots shoot down. So this is why I also have to pot this up, because this root needs to go into the soil, okay? So the pot that I've chosen to put it in is actually a long pot as well. So let me just go and get that. I have to move some plants. I should have done this before. Okay, so this is the pot that I'm going to be putting it in. It's just plastic. I spent a long time debating whether I wanted to use a self-watering pot. I don't want to go down that route. I like to be in control of what and when I water, and I haven't got any experience with self-watering pots. So maybe what I'll do is I'll look into self-watering pots, maybe buy just a small one for something and see how we go. Maybe for my Hoya. I've seen some Hoyas in self-watering pots and they're really good because the Hoyas don't really like being watered too much. So it's always a wonder of when to water, when not to water. So maybe I'll have a look at one of those. But they're always very big, very high, and they're just too big. But I will have a look. What I'm going to be using today, bark-wise, is my Philodendron and Monstera saw that I tend to use all the time. Now that is bark 30%, coarse pumice 10%, active charcoal is 10%, worm castings is 10%, and coco coir is 30%. So I filled the pot up a little bit already. I'm just going to add a little bit more soil to it. Okay. just going to spread that around. Now I will want this to be slightly deeper than this, as in a little bit more soil, but I'm going to put that in a minute. I just want to see where the plant wants to sit. So yeah, I think once the soil's out of the way. Now I'm going to try, if I can, do, because there is two small, there's a small one in here and a bigger one. I want to do them so they're going in separate directions, because I feel that the small one is being crushed a little bit with the roots. So I'm going to try and do both of them in separate directions, so I don't just have them all going here and then you end up with nothing on this side as the plant travels left or right. If I have them doing this, there is one that's slightly weaker, and maybe that will strengthen it up if it has a lot of room to breathe and grow. Okay, so I'm going to push this back. Now, I think some ants have got in here, which is really not good. I'm going to just take my scissors and I'm going to cut the pot off, because I don't really want to disturb too much if I can help it. And I'm going to cut the pot off here. Now this pot has been brilliant, really, considering I couldn't find a pot that I liked, and I've had to make do with just this long planter. It will do for now. I wanted to find a bonsai one, but I couldn't find anything. They were really expensive as well, so I didn't want anything really heavy. Well, there's definitely some roots in here. Wow. So let me look at that. For those root systems, absolutely brilliant. Can you see that? So it definitely is due to be repotted. And I don't even think I'm going to be able to get both these plants separated. It is what it is. If that's the way it is, that's the way it is. So I'm going to take that out. I'm going to just put that in there. And I'm going to take some of this soil away, because this soil was quite spent. Yes, this is so in need. I mean, look at those roots. They really, really needed. I'm going to try and see if I can just release this one from the side. Just gently. Tickle the roots, take all the soil off. I think he's going to be I am tearing some of the roots here, but I do really want them separated, and this will produce new roots anyway with a new shoot that comes along. So I definitely do think they do need to be separated. Okay, so this is the smaller plant. As you can see, this is the new root here. So this will produce as it goes along, and then the next root will come out and the next one. So this is going to be on this side here. So I'm just going to, now these sit on the top, remember? So we don't want to be pushing this really low down, but I want to get these roots, the roots that are already in, I want to get those. Now you want to leave the top, so I need some more soil here. You want to leave the top so it sees the air, because as I say, it's terrestrial. Now this one will probably take a knock for a while. This one, I'm going to cut some of this off here at the back. That's old stock, so I don't want that anymore. And want to cut it here, but you know what, I'm going to leave it for now. I'm just going to plant what's already here. Just going to move the soil out of the way. Well, that root ball is really strong. And it moved the new soil around. And as I say, this will give it a bit of a knock. And it will take a while for it to settle back in. There is your, I'm going to put some sticks to hold it up. Now I'm going to give this a really good watering in the bathroom. There's a new shoot I can see wanted to pierce here, so we shall see how that happens. So what I've got is I've got a stick and just one of these little Velcro rolls. Just want to give it so until it gets a little bit more, the roots go into the rest of the soil, the new soil. So I'm just gonna, this should give it a tiny little bit more. That's better. That's all the roots that we lost, so that's not too bad. So there we go, everybody. So really quick and simple. Now, as you see, this was the main plant here. We have this stem that, obviously there's no plant there, and that's why I wanted this plant, which is under here, to go the other way, so they were going in separate directions. Now this plant will get to the end fairly quickly, and what I'll do then, I'll cut it where it starts to come off the edge, and I'll turn it around so it goes back. Okay, it will have a little root. You saw that I was tearing some roots. When I first got this, it maybe had 3 very small roots to about this big. So I'm not worried, and don't be worried too much if you do tear some of the roots. They will grow, unless of course you're putting them into a situation they really don't like, okay? I know they're gonna like this. It's got the soil that they needed, which I was using before. It's got this huge plant now, so the roots can expand far more than they were before. And they're going to get some great light. So that's another plant repotted into a better situation for it. So the watering tips, 1 week, maybe 10 days. Check, this one does tend to like being a slightly more moist, if I'll be honest with you. I don't particularly like to let it dry out completely. Some of the philodendrons like to dry out. I find the Gloriosum doesn't too much, but that's no means to say that you need to keep the soil moist, okay? Just be aware of it. So your plant will tell you what it likes. I find that this one prefers to be slightly on the damp side than drying out before waterings. If not, always use your water meter, and I haven't got it to hand, but I shall put a picture up here for you, which I have in most of my videos now. I do talk about the water meter. I'm an overwaterer. It really helps me gauge when a plant needs watering, especially for my monsteras, because I'm notorious. I used to have a very big monstera about 3-4 years ago. Didn't understand why it wasn't loving me, loving my situation, and it's because I was overwatering it. I didn't water it for 2 months when I got the water meter, and it was still full of water. So in the end, I tipped out the old pot, took cuttings and started again, and that's the monstera. This one, that's the baby. That's the baby. The mother plant's long gone because she got root rot. So that is it. So the day after, or actually 2 days after repotting this, I decided that I was going to cut the main stem, which I had done. So obviously this little shoot that was already there will now grow, and I'll have 3 Gloriosums, 2 from the main, and obviously my smaller one, which is over here. Now this one has a quite good root, as you saw. Yeah, so we're going to see what happens. Watch this space. Okay, so this is 3 weeks after potting now. So if we zoom in, you can see the new shoot on the middle, which is that red area. That's the new shoot that's growing out. And the part where we've cut off now, which is separated from the main plant, there is your node. There, can you see that light area? And you can see the cut just on the middle of the right. And zoom back in again, and there we are. That is the node. That is the new shoot that's coming out. So there is 3 plants that are now doing really well, and we shall keep you informed of any developments. So there we have it, all potted up. The Philodendron Gloriosum. One plant going one way and one plant going the other. Lots of real estate they can really get their roots into. So we shall keep an eye on this one, and I shall bring regular updates for you, okay? So please like and subscribe, please comment down below, and I will get back to all your comments, okay? And I shall see you soon. Thank you, bye.